I have in my Sega Megadrive the absolute behemoth of a cartridge that is Virtua Racing, and it's ready to go. I just need to press the power button, and yes, this is a game that I have the Saturn version of. I know there's also a PS2 version of the game, and obviously it had the what was the chip called? It says on the cartridge, Sega Virtua processor chip. So kind of Sega's answer to the Super FX chip for the Super Nintendo. Kind of the difference being that I don't recall that there was another game released with this chip after Virtua Racing. I believe the cartridge was pretty expensive. I'm sure I remember it being about 80 quid or something silly like that. So let's see what we've got. So yeah, it looks really dated now, and to be honest, the Saturn version for me is the kind of better of the two. But you know, this game's cheap enough. I only paid a few quid for it, so can't really make that. It does zip along at a pretty fast rate, although it does kind of make the game a bit hard to control. You do notice the draw distance is pretty terrible. If you played Stunt Race Effects on the Super Nintendo, as a comparison, Stunt Race Effects, I mean this game is kind of letterboxed. It does have borders top and bottom, but Stunt Race Effects, sorry, on the Super Nintendo, got Super Stunt FX, Sega Virtua FX. It's fucking, oh my brain's gonna explode. All this FX-ness. Yes, that game played in like a shitty little... It was almost like playing a YouTube video on your Megadrive, on your Super Nintendo, sorry. Yeah, it had... like half of the screen was filled... I can't remember what it was filled with. Was it? Probably lap times or something like that, and then you had like a window. Pretty decent game, don't get me wrong, but... you know, with this game you're seeing a lot bigger field of view. Shame that there's no kind of music going on constantly during the race. I'm a fan of a good Sega arcade beat. Oh, we've got some music now. 16 other cars on the track, so quite ambitious. Will we get different views? Ah, there we go, we can change the ads. You see, this would have been absolutely amazing back in the day, being able to change a view like this on a racing game. You see why it would have been a, you know, technical marvel. So we'll go for the next track. Medium. Fucking hell, beginner was hard enough. Medium's going to nail my balls to the wall. Yeah, the Saturn version that I mentioned being a better version, obviously graphically it's better, it's also got more tracks, obviously better quality audio. So, you know, I mean, that's not an amazingly expensive game to pick up on the Saturn. It's definitely affordable. I've not played the PS2 version. I can't remember whether the PS2 game was sort of like an anniversary edition of Virtua Racing. Well, that's meant to be probably the sort of definitive version, but for me the Sega Saturn has more charm than the PS2. Failing miserably at this game. It is quite difficult. I think a lot of that difficulty comes from the game actually zipping along at quite an ambitiously fast rate, but you just cannot really see where you're going unless you kind of put it in this micro machines mode here, which kind of seems to make it a lot easier to control as well, even though I'm bouncing from one wall to the other. Barrier, should I say. And you crash when there's something in the scenery in your way. Yeah, we'll go back down here then. So yes, I'd say probably the most impressive thing about the game is being able to change the camera angle, but you know, it's definitely a classic game, and you know, just to have the big cartridge and something with the Sega Virtua FX chip, whatever it's called, it's definitely a game tone for that reason. Unfortunately my version of the game isn't boxed. I'm not really sure how much it costs boxed. We'll try the hard track, we'll give it one go. Controls wise, not mention them. B to accelerate, A to brake, which is kind of backwards by today's standards, and C to change view. Start pauses it as you'd expect, and that's pretty much it. And if you go on the grass you spin, as I keep finding out. Not really seemingly doing much better than 15th in any race at the moment. I did get 12th on the beginner track, I guess. It's enough of a challenge actually making the checkpoints in time, never mind coming first. Never been a fan of checkpoints in racing games. Is it not enough of a punishment that you just stone cold last? You know what I mean? Going to be scouring my Megadrive collection, see if there's any. I'm pretty sure there's another game that I need to play to get the videos up to date for the Megadrive collection, but I have no idea what it is, if there is one. So I need to scour my collection, and see if there is a game that needs playing. So there may be a Megadrive video after this one, and there may not be. Well, there will be one after it at some point in the future, because I'm not going to stop buying Megadrive games, but I'm just saying immediately after. And I got 15th in Game Over, so yes, that sucks. Big fucking dicks. So yes, that's Virtua Racing for the Sega Mega Drive. As I say, it's a classic game. Definitely need to have this in your Mega Drive collections. It's one of those interesting titles. Another you know, like Virtua Fighter 2. It's a 2D version of a 3D fighting game. So you know, this is a 3D game, and it's got that cartridge. You know, they're just things that make the games interesting. So even if it's not aged very well, it's definitely worth putting on and seeing what the fuss might all have been about at the time when it first came out. So definitely recommend picking this up for the Mega Drive.